I bring you all good tidings because I am doing a video on something that I wanted to do for a little while, and it's a champion I regularly use. If you've seen the opening I did at the start of the week, so I think it was Tuesday's opening, then you'll know I am in a very good mood with new champions, roster development and stuff like that, and especially making a big bump in my prestige. You can see now what I'm going to be talking about is Apocalypse, my new rank 3 6-star Apocalypse, because Grandmaster Gauntlet actually went really well for me. So well that I kind of think that I'm not going to spend on July 4th deals and maybe even not get any. There's nothing really I'm acquiring or looking at the moment. I do have to get units, but at the same token, I kind of feel like I'm going to grade the deals that we get on July 4th and make a decision whether or not I feel like, is it worth just saving to Cyber Weekend? Because at the end of the day, for me, it's like, I'm picking up champions I want. I've picked up all. I wanted a big prestige boost, and I kind of felt recently that I wasn't really kind of hitting up anything too important. But it's just been like, it's been mega. It's been mega with the luck. It's been mega with the tier 5 class catalyst acquisition and those Grandmaster Gauntlet. I'm kind of glad I did it now as opposed to waiting, because you know my state of like where I'm at with luck and the game may be very different when it comes to the game mode reintroducing. If you're going to wait a year, then I'll probably be like, I ain't gonna do that. So yeah, anyway, got out of the way. Let's refocus our attention, because I'll save that for another video of like how the rank ups have affected my roster, and it's July 4th, blah 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 blah. Not this type of video. This video is going to be all about rank 3 6-star Apocalypse. Got some footage, also got some like stuff like to talk about this. So first of all, the way that I'm using Apocalypse in my roster is just a case of like, he's incredibly great value. Grandmaster Gauntlet was fantastic. Most of the time with that, there was either certain circumstances where having a bleed immune champion or one that can create bleed immunity is going to be of value. But also there's other things when it comes to disorient. Yes, I'm saying it right. Some people do question, Rich, why do you say disorientate? And it's like, yeah, it's because I'm British and that I'm associated. I always think it's disorientate, but it's not. It's disorient. Okay, so most of these have different types of interactions. Most of them are mutants. Some of them have bleed abilities. And a lot of them have evade-based qualities, whether or not it's Mixed Master, whether or not it's going to be, again, evade champions, whether or not they're going to be the Knights of Nightcrawler and as well Spider-Gwen. And Apocalypse just like, it ticks a lot of boxes because Magneto was put on my team because a lot of these champions are hashtag metal, so it seems like a good kind of like counter. And as well having those different elements of saying incinerate immunity, which didn't really apply, but it was just the evading, the what is the other, the bleed immunity, disorient immunity, which really helped. The kind of extra kind of like cherry on the top of the cake is that you're having a champion that can also increase the potency of other mutants and creating horsemen. And that's what I did. I spent most of my time either having the prowess boosted version, the genetic code I think it is, or am I thinking of Professor X? I think it's genetic code. So basically, you win a fight, you get some prowess. Could have brought in Cable in order to accelerate that, which we'll talk about in a second, and why that's such an important synergy to mention. But it just helps out a lot. If I wanted to create, and I did, I created an Archangel, Horseman of the Apocalypse, which again was another example of a champion that could be reducing down ability accuracy and as well getting a lot of bleed, poison, and neurotoxin damage. So there's, and also stun rotations, the resistance from bleed, which the Horseman synergy does. Man, it's great. But I don't want to, again, I shouldn't be talking too much about one specific thing. I just thought that, you know, just explain why the champion is good and extra help in different types of areas. Now, most of the time, the damage from the champion comes from a lot of the debuff abilities, and the way that they're just like dot ticking and stuff, that's good, but they're amplified by the extent of special attacks coming in with the genetic code, means prowess damage, which means that it kind of like all comes into a nice cluster of damage, given that kind of physical damage as stated, which is like where I kind of like apply most of my kind of rotations for the champion, is trying to at least build something like an SP2, do a heavy attack, then after that try and build, I kind of build past 2 bars of power, and then if it's a longer fight, I'll then try and use that extra bar of power to like ramp up, parry heavy, build it to an SP3, get those effects on permanently, and then try and like rotate around things like SP1, or go SP2, SP1, or SP1, SP2. Either way, you're doing damage, and that's the main thing. But parry heavy with a bleed attack, and there's a nice amount of damage. Apocalypse has been one of these great champions that I've added and rotated around my roster for the purpose of Cavalier difficulty a lot. More so for Grandmaster Gauntlet, of course, with his interactions, but also like this champion is great, like a real like smashing champion. It's not really a review, but it's just kind of like saying like he's good. I've done a review in the past and I'm like, he's insane, and I've been so happy that Command have done a character justice, especially looking at some of the others that they've done, and they've not done them justice. It is good to know that my boy Big Paco is definitely getting all that love. So that's good. So what I'm going to do is throw up 3 minutes of footage stretched across, first of all, the Realm of Legends footage, of course, and then we're going to go to Labyrinth of Legends, Act 7.1, and another interaction, which I cannot remember, but I'll probably see it. When I see it, I'll be like, oh yes, I remember shooting that. Act 6.4.4. So, first of all, just shows the extent of damage. This is going to be, I think, building up for one single SP1, and doing that like parry heavy there. I have got the Heimdall synergy on, and that kind of like, this is a bit of an issue here. The AI is very bad at the moment in certain areas. And even there, like the dropped inputs, which we were talking about earlier today, is just not good. But I just want to showcase this, like 8k ticks there. I think that Fury buff is really helping out. So that was that. This was another incident as well, where I just got clipped and problematic with the evade of part of Labyrinth of Legends. So it happens. There you go. So it evaded, but the suppression, I think, did work. The Intercede is saving my butt right there. But again, just like showcases the extent of damage that we can get here. Labyrinth of Legends isn't a great champion for, because if you are looking to parry heavy, then you've literally got like that mark of the Labyrinth, and it's kind of like a limber type effect, which becomes quite frustrating at times. But at least to build up, if you can build up the extent of evade. And by the way, there may be people going like, oh, well, you should be running Suicide Masteries, Rich. And it's like, yeah, of course I should. I'm just not in the mood to run them at the moment. Maybe I will in the future, but who knows? There's other types of content I need to facilitate with non-Suicide Masteries at the moment, but it is what it is. So Labyrinth of Legends for me is just a case of building like Red Hulk up to like an SP1, and then kind of like evading out as one should do. But look at that damage. Just look at that. That's nice. Especially as we wait out the champion, tick him out to die. So yes, you go down now, Red Hulk. You there we go. Job's done. It's just nice. It's nice to see this champion and all those kind of like debuff damage. But he's a great support champion. I think it's one of the key things. I am working with the cable synergy because it builds you up to the full genetic code, just like that. Click. Just like that. You're up to there. So your damage is kind of amplified up very, very quickly on your special attacks, which is great. So you can switch to like give people Horseman if you want very, very quickly, but at the same time, like, well, there's interactions here with, as you can see, I'm bleed immune, top left hand corner. So the reason that I'm doing this with a biohazard type like narrative is that, you know, I want to use this champion on this path. This is Act 7.1.6 and the path with biohazard, and I think there's a buff to mutants on this one as well. So that's good to kind of set up as the AI. I think the AI is just responding very weirdly at today when I've been playing in certain areas. Not too bad in Labyrinth and Legends, but everywhere else seems to be bad. You can see here Incinerate immunity popping up, and as soon as that ticks over, we've got Icarus on. Icarus is not very nice. It's great when you've got champions that shrug it off quite easily, but I don't want to spend the entire fight going parry heavy, because you can see with Icarus, with building up the Fury buffs, here's the damage. That's a good amount of damage, but at the same time, I'm degenning now. So hopefully, you know, we can see something like better in the future with maybe a synergy that lasts a bit longer with that. And you could say that in this particular example, should I have used like being more aggressive and used something like Namor, especially in Act 6.4.4? Maybe that would have been the case. But it just showcases, I think what thing I wanted to showcase is that you can get the Incinerate immunity, which is actually really nice. You just got to remember to do parry heavy with Icarus in order to shrug off those Fury buffs, so they're not going to degen you to quite so much damage. And yeah, that's been a little bit of footage on Apocalypse. I think that this champion is amazing. I really can't wait to kind of use this a lot more, and I think that's the thing. Cavalier difficulty once a month not once a month, but obviously in the mutant quest, I'm going to be using him a lot more. And obviously for some of the bosses, because there's been some bosses that do disorient and other effects like bleed damage, incinerate damage, and you're like, well, it would be good to have an example of this, and this one is great. There's also a lot of stuff in Act 7.2 that has things like energy adoption incinerate, which this becomes a cracking option, or something where it's energy adoption in was it cold snap or something, and that means that you'll be able to kind of like have something that you get to shrug it off. Act 7.2 is good, but it's like it's got some weird stuff where, oh, if you've got that cold snap, you shrug it off, which means that if you've got an incinerate immune, it's good for the interaction. I've probably covered this in some other videos. I think it was with Colossus recently in a 7.2.2 video. So yeah, just wanted to do a video to say like I'm loving my rank 3 6-star version and can't wait to thrust him through some amazing content very, very soon. And finally, thank you so much for watching this video. This will be the second video for Wednesday. There may be a third one today, but if not, I'll be live streaming a little bit later on today, about 100 hours GMT. Actually, a little bit earlier than that one. So see you on the Twitch live stream a little bit later on today. Have a good one. Bye-bye.